Hello, how are you? Are you okay? Are you having a nice week? Well, I hope you are working hard and that you're having fun at home. Okay, so time for another English class. So today we're going to be reading about some different planets. Okay, vamos a leer información sobre planetas diferentes. All right. So first of all, we're going to go to page 46 in the pupils book, página 46 in the pupils book, okay? So that's Unit 4, Lesson 6, Reading, okay? And we have this information. Okay, so first of all, we're going to read, okay? So you have the page, tenemos la página, okay? Pues vamos a leer, okay? So we're going to read about 4 different planets, okay? Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, 4 different planets. Okay. And when we finish reading, we have a few questions to answer. Okay. Cuando acabamos, tenemos unas preguntas. Okay. But first, we're going to listen and read. Okay. Listen and read. Okay. All right. Let's begin.
The gas giants. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are the 4 planets furthest from the Sun. They're known as the gas giants. Jupiter. Distance from the Sun. It's the 5th planet from the Sun. Size. It's the biggest planet. Rings. It's got 3 rings. Moons. It's got at least 16 moons. One of its moons is the biggest moon in the solar system. Interesting information. It's the heaviest planet. The large red spot on Jupiter is a storm that started at least 400 years ago.
Okay. So that was about Jupiter. Okay. Okay. So, some interesting information. It says it's the heaviest planet. Do you remember heavy? Okay. Heavy. Que pesa mucho. So this is the heaviest planet. Okay. Let's read about Saturn.
Saturn. Distance from the Sun. It's the 6th planet from the Sun. Size. It's the 2nd biggest planet. Rings. It's got thousands of rings made of ice and rock. Saturn's rings are the brightest rings in the solar system. Moons. It's got at least 30 moons. It's the planet with the most moons. Interesting information. Some of the pieces of ice in Saturn's rings are as big as a house.
Okay, so that was Saturn. Remember the word rings? Rings. Okay, los anillos, rings. So it's got lots of rings. Okay, let's read about Uranus.
Uranus. Distance from the Sun. It's the 7th planet from the Sun. Size. It's the 3rd biggest planet. Rings. It's got 11 grey rings. Moons. It's got at least 22 moons. Interesting information. It's the coldest planet.
Okay, so that was Uranus. Okay, now it says here, with size says it's the 3rd biggest planet. Remember, big right? So it's the third biggest. And it says here, it's the coldest planet. Coldest, the cold, frío. It's the coldest planet. Let's read about Neptune.
Neptune. Distance from the Sun. It's the furthest planet from the Sun. Size. It's the fourth biggest planet. Rings. It's got 4 complete rings made of rock and dust, and lots of incomplete rings. Moons. It's got at least 8 moons. Interesting information. It's the windiest planet.
Okay, very good. So that was Neptune. So it says here, something interesting. It's the furthest planet from the sun, right? Furthest, remember, el más lejos, right? So it's the furthest planet from the sun. Also, it says it's the windiest planet. Windy, wind, viento. So it's the windiest planet. Okay. All right, very good. Did you listen? Did you read? Did you understand? Okay, if you need to listen again, you can always stop the video, go back, and listen again. Okay? Si hace falta, puedes parar el video, volver y escuchar y leer otra vez para entenderlo mejor. Okay, very good. So, now we've read our information, we have some questions to answer. Okay? You see these questions? Tenemos 4 preguntas aquí. We have 4 questions. And what we're going to do is we're going to answer them in the notebook. Okay? I'm going to answer them in the notebook. So let's open the notebook. Okay, we're going to open the notebook. And we're going to have the title, Gas Giants. Okay, like the title of the page, Gas Giants. All right. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Gas Giants. Okay, good. And then we put here, page 46, exercise 2. So we know what exercise we're doing when we go back. Okay, page 46, exercise 2. Okay, let's put that. And we're going to start with number 1. That's number 1. Okay, so let's look at our first question. Okay, so the first question, it says, and I'm going to highlight. Okay, it says, which planet has got the biggest moon? Which planet has got the biggest, and that's going to name the biggest moon? Okay, so let's read the information. Which planet? Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, or Neptune? Well, if we look here at Jupiter and we look at moons, let's see what it says here. It says one of its moons is the biggest moon in the solar system. Okay, so which planet has got the biggest moon? Jupiter. Okay, so let's write the phrase in our notebook. Vamos a ponerlo en la libreta. Okay, so number 1, Jupiter has got the biggest moon. Okay, la palabra importante es the biggest, el más grande, the biggest moon. Okay, very good. Let's go for question number 2. All right, and I'll change color here. All right, so we'll say the next question. Which planet has got the brightest rings? Which planet has got the brightest? Bright es como brillante, un poco como shiny, okay? The brightest rings, okay? So the rings, los anillos, okay? And the brightest rings, los anillos más brillante, okay? The brightest rings. So which planet has got the brightest rings? Okay. So let's have a read. Now, if we read for Saturn, let's see what it says here. It says, Saturn's rings are the brightest rings in the solar system. So, which planet has got the brightest rings? Saturn. Yeah, Saturn's rings are the brightest rings in the solar system. So, let's write in our notebook. Okay, vamos a contestar en la libreta. Saturn, number 2. Saturn has got the brightest rings. Okay, and we'll highlight the brightest. Very good. Saturn has got the brightest rings. Let's go for question number 3. Okay, and I'll change color again. Let's go for green. So, next question. Which is the coldest planet? Which is the coldest planet? Cold, frío. So, which is the coldest planet? ¿Qué es el más frío? ¿Qué planeta es el más frío? Let's have a look. Let's see if we can find the answer. Now, if you look at Uranus, and say interesting information, it says here, it's the coldest planet. It's the coldest planet. So, which is the coldest planet? Uranus is the coldest planet. Let's write in the notebook. Number 3. Uranus is the coldest planet. And we'll highlight the coldest, el más frío. Good. Number 4. Okay, last one here. We'll go orange. It says, which is the windiest planet? Which is the windiest planet? Now, windy, viento. ¿Qué hace viento? The windy. So, which is the windiest planet? Now, if we look at Neptune, look at interesting information, it says, it's the windiest planet. It's the windiest planet. So, let's put in our notebook. Neptune is the windiest planet. Okay, the windiest. Que hace más viento. Okay, so, all right, so we have our 4 answers in the notebook. Tenemos las 4 frases en la libreta. Okay, so, number 1, Jupiter has got the biggest moon. Number 2, Saturn has got the brightest rings. Number 3, Uranus is the coldest planet. And number 4, Neptune is the windiest planet. Okay, make sure you have this written correctly in your book. Okay, mira que tienes todas las frases bien escrito en la libreta. Okay, all good? Finished? Fantastic. Okay, so now that we know some information about the planets, we can go to the activity book. Okay, vamos a la activity book. Y vamos a ir a página 43, page 43. 43. Okay, 43. Unit 4, lesson 6, reading. Okay. So, let's have a look. Okay, page 43. Tenemos la página? We have the page? Okay, very good. Let's look at exercise 1. Exercise 1, okay. So, we have some phrases, and we have to say true or false. Tenemos unas frases, y tenemos que decir si son true, verdad, o false, falso. Okay? Okay, y para saber, miramos en el Pupils Book, a la información otra vez. Okay, so let's do the exercise. Okay, so we'll read the phrase, and we'll find the information, and we'll write the answer. Okay, vamos a leer la frase, buscar la información, y poner la respuesta. All right, let's try it. Number 1. Jupiter is the biggest planet. Jupiter is the biggest, el más grande, the biggest planet. Let's have a look. Okay, now if we look here, it says Jupiter, I'm going to get my highlighter again. It says Jupiter is the biggest planet. Jupiter is the biggest planet. Yeah, it says here it's the biggest planet. So, it's true, verdad. Okay, but that was the example. Let's try phrase number 2. Number 2, Neptune, okay, the planet Neptune, is the furthest planet from the sun. The furthest. Do you remember the furthest? ¿Recuerda qué quiere decir? El más lejos. Okay, the furthest planet from the sun. El más lejos del sol. Okay, Neptune is the furthest planet from the sun. Is that true or false? Let's have a look. Neptune. Okay. Mira que pone aquí. Dice, it's the furthest planet from the sun. The furthest planet from the sun. So the answer is, let me get my pen. So the answer is true. Very good. Okay, let's look at number 3. It says, Uranus is the hottest planet. The hottest. Remember the hottest? El más caliente, the hottest. Uranus is the hottest planet. Is that true or false? Let's have a look. Uranus. Is it the hottest planet? Oh, let's look here for interesting information. ¿Qué pone? Dice, it's the coldest planet. Cold, frío. It's the coldest planet, not the hottest planet. So, Uranus is the hottest planet. The answer is false. It's the coldest planet. Number 4, Neptune is the third biggest planet. Okay, biggest, más grande. Neptune is the third biggest planet. El tercer más grande. The third biggest planet. Is that true or false? Let's have a look. Vamos a mirar. So it said Neptune is the third biggest planet. Neptune. A ver qué pone. Look here. It says, oh, it's the fourth biggest planet. It's the fourth biggest planet. So not the third biggest planet, the fourth biggest planet. The fourth biggest. So Neptune is the third biggest planet? No, that's false. Fourth biggest planet, not the third. Okay, very good. Let's try number 5. ¿Qué pone? Saturn is the second biggest planet. The second biggest planet. El segundo más grande. Saturn is the second biggest planet. Let's have a look. Saturn, distance from the sun. Oh, here it is. Size, it says it's the second biggest planet. It's the second biggest planet. So, Saturn is the second biggest planet. That is true. Okay, and finally, number 6, Jupiter is the windiest planet. Windy, que hace viento, que hace el más viento. The windiest. The windiest. Let's have a look at the information. So, Jupiter. Okay. The windiest planet. A ver qué pone. It's the heaviest planet, not the windiest, the heaviest planet. No, it doesn't say anything about windy. But if we look at Neptune, look, Neptune, it's the windiest planet. Neptune is the windiest planet. Yeah, so Jupiter is the windiest planet? No, false. Neptune is the windiest planet. Okay, very good. Do you have all the correct answers? Okay, ¿habéis entendido y hecho bien el ejercicio? Okay, very good. Let's continue. We have one more exercise. Okay. So now we're just going to write 3 things about each planet. Okay, we have the 4 planets, and for each planet, we're going to write 3 phrases. Okay, tenemos los 4 planetas, y para cada planeta vamos a poner 3 frases con información. Información del texto, the pupil's book. Okay, so let's have a look. So we'll go back to the pupil's book. So first we have Jupiter. Let's do Jupiter first, okay? So we have one phrase already. Tenemos una frase ya. Dice, it's the biggest planet, el más grande. Okay. So, okay, porque pone aquí, the biggest planet, it's the biggest planet. Okay, so we're going to think of two more phrases, dos frases más que podemos poner para Jupiter. Okay, so why don't we put rings? It's got 3 rings. This is a good phrase. Okay? Tiene 3 anillos. It's got 3 rings. Let's write this. Let's copy this phrase. Okay, so Jupiter. It's got 3 rings. Okay? It's got 3 rings. And we need one more phrase. Una frase más. Well, hay muchas frases que podemos poner. Let's look here. Interesting information. Let's put this. It's the heaviest planet. Es el planeta más pesado. Okay? It's the heaviest planet. Let's write this. Yeah? So, it's the heaviest planet. Okay? So we've got 3 phrases for Jupiter. It's the biggest planet. It's got 3 rings. It's the heaviest planet. Let's have a look at Saturn. We need to write 3 phrases for Saturn. Let's have a look. Saturn. Let's see. ¿Qué podemos poner? Let's try this one. It's the 6th planet from the sun. The 6th planet from the sun. So if you have the sun, tenemos el sol. It's the 6th planet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we have Saturn. Okay. So let's write this phrase. Let's copy this here. It's the 6th planet from the sun. Very good. It's the 6th planet from the sun. Let's put another phrase. How about this one? It's the 2nd biggest planet. It's the 2nd biggest planet. Let's write that. It's the 2nd biggest planet. Good. And we need one more phrase. Una frase más. Let's try this one. Moons, lunas. It's got at least 30 moons. 30 lunas. It's got at least 30 moons. Let's write this phrase. So number 3 here. Oh. All right. It's got at least 30 moons. Okay, very good. All right, let's go to Uranus. All right, so 3 phrases for Uranus. Let's have a look. ¿Qué frases podemos poner de Uranus? How about this one? It's the 3rd biggest planet. It's the 3rd biggest planet. Let's write this. Number 1. It's the 3rd biggest planet. It's the 3rd biggest planet. Good. Let's find some more information, 2 more phrases. How about rings? We can put it as rings. Say it's got 11 gray rings. ¿Cuántos anillos? Let's write this. Oh, if I can do this correctly. Okay, it's got 11 gray rings. It's got 11 gray rings. Okay, and we'll put one more phrase. It's the coldest planet, el más frío. It's the coldest planet. Okay, let's write this. It's the coldest planet. Okay, very good. And okay, so we have 3 phrases for Uranus, and now we need 3 phrases for Neptune. 3 phrases for Neptune. Let's have a look. Neptune. ¿Qué podemos poner? Let's try, how about this? It's the 4th biggest planet. It's the 4th biggest planet. Let's write that. It's the 4th biggest planet. Good. Okay, what else can we put? ¿Qué más podemos poner? How about moons? It's got at least 8 moons. 8 moons, 8 lunas. Okay, so it's got at least 8 moons. It's got at least 8 moons. And one more phrase. Let's put this. It's the windiest planet. Que tiene más viento. The windiest. It's the windiest planet. Let's write it. It's the windiest planet. It's the windiest planet. Okay. So we should have 3 phrases for Jupiter, 3 phrases for Saturn, 3 for Uranus, and 3 for Neptune. Okay? Make sure you have all the phrases copied correctly in your activity book. Okay, mira bien si tienes todas las frases bien escrito en el activity book. Okay? Vale. So, finished? Excellent. So if you finished exercise 2, okay, so in the page in the activity book, we finished exercise 1 and exercise 2. And in our notebook, okay, we have our 4 phrases. Okay, then we can finish for today. Okay, ahí podemos acabar. Es todo para hoy. That's everything for today. Okay, very, very good work. Muy bien. If there's any problem, just let me know through email or WhatsApp. All right, and I hope to see you very soon in class. All right, take care. Bye-bye.